The midnight arrival thunder cracked across the sky as rain pounded against the windows of Theo Mercer's remote cabin. 3 years since he'd left the battlefield. 3 years of solitude in these woods, yet the sound of thunder still made his hands tremble. He clutched his mug of tea tighter, willing the memories away. The knock came during a flash of lightning. 3 desperate raps that barely carried over the storm. Theo reached for the rifle he kept by the door, old habits refusing to die. "Who's there?" he called, voice rough from disuse. Only the wind answered. Then came a whimper. Not quite human. Theo eased the door open to find a woman. No, it's not a woman, cradling what appeared to be a child. Her skin glimmered with a subtle blue luminescence, rain streaming down her face. Her eyes, large and entirely silver, met his with desperation. "Please," she whispered. "My daughter is injured. They're hunting us." The child in her arms had the same blue-tinted skin, but paler, almost translucent. A dark purple substance oozed from a wound on her tiny shoulder. Without hesitation, Theo stepped aside. "Come in." The woman, alien, he corrected himself, stumbled inside. "I am Neva," she said, her accent lilting strangely. "This is Kira, Theo," he replied, already clearing his kitchen table. "Put her here," as Neva set Kira down. Theo grabbed his old medical kit. His hands steadied as training took over. "What happened?" "They're weapons. They call us invaders, but we only seek refuge," Neva's voice broke. "Our ship crashed. The others ... gone." Theo examined the wound, recognizing a bullet entry point. 5 years as a combat medic had shown him plenty. "She needs antibiotics." "I'm not sure if human medicine will work on your physiology," "It will," Neva said firmly. "We are more alike than different." Theo worked in silence, extracting the bullet, cleaning the wound. The child whimpered, but remained brave. Her blood was deeper purple than human blood, but flowed similarly. "You were a healer," Neva observed, watching his practiced movements. "Combat medic. Not the same thing. You heal now. That is what matters." Outside, the storm raged on. Theo bandaged Kira's shoulder, administered antibiotics, and settled her on his couch with blankets. She fell asleep almost immediately. Neva collapsed into a chair, exhaustion claiming her. "Thank you," she whispered. "Few of your kind would help us." Theo handed her a cup of tea. Their fingers brushed, sending an unexpected warmth through him. "Why are they hunting you?" "Fear," she said simply. "Your government believes we are scouts for an invasion. We are refugees, nothing more." Theo nodded, studying her face. Despite the alien features, he read the same expressions he'd seen in countless war victims: fear, exhaustion, and the fierce determination of a parent protecting their child. "You're safe tonight," he promised. "We'll figure out the rest tomorrow." For the first time in 3 years, Theo didn't feel alone in his cabin in the woods. Healing wounds, mourning. Light filtered through the windows as Theo checked Kira's bandages. The alien child watched him with large silver eyes, no longer clouded with pain. "Better?" he asked. She nodded, then spoke in her lilting accent. "Thank you, healer." Neva appeared from the bathroom. Her blue-tinted skin freshly washed, wearing clothes Theo had lent her an old t-shirt and sweatpants that hung loose on her slender frame. "The fever is broken," Theo told her. "She's healing faster than a human would." "Our bodies regenerate quickly," Neva explained, sitting beside her daughter. "But without your help, the infection would have claimed her." Theo busied himself making breakfast, aware of Neva's eyes following him. 3 years of isolation had left him unaccustomed to company, especially company so ... different. Yet something about their presence filled a void he hadn't acknowledged. "You live alone here," Neva observed. "Away from your own kind?" Theo cracked eggs into a pan. "I've seen enough of my own kind to last a lifetime." "The war?" she asked softly. His shoulders tensed. "How did your nightmares?" "You called out in your sleep." He'd crept up his neck. "Sorry if I disturbed you. No apologies needed. We all carry wounds, Theo. Some just aren't visible." Serve them breakfast, surprised when Kira eagerly accepted the scrambled eggs. The child ate ravenously while Neva explained their journey, their home planet destabilized by environmental collapse. Their desperate flight across space, the crash landing on Earth 6 months ago. We've been moving constantly, she said. Your military has been tracking the survivors. How many of you are there? Perhaps 50, scattered across this region. We communicate when we can, but it's dangerous. A distant engine sound made them all freeze. Theo moved to the window, peering through the trees. A black SUV crawled along the distant road. Government, he muttered. They rarely come this far out. Neva gathered Kira in her arms, eyes wide with fear. They can't see the cabin from the road, Theo reassured her. We're hidden. As the vehicle passed, Theo noticed how Neva's hand had found his arm, gripping it tightly. The contact sent a strange, tingling sensation across his skin. Sorry, she whispered, releasing him. It's fine, he said, surprised by how much he meant it. Later, while Kira napped, Theo showed Neva his small garden behind the cabin. The afternoon sun made her skin shimmer with iridescent patterns he hadn't noticed before. It's beautiful, she said, touching a tomato plant. Life, finding ways to grow, like you, Theo replied, then felt foolish for the observation. But Neva smiled, her expression softening. Perhaps we are not so different. You and I are both refugees in our own way. When her fingers intertwined with his, Theo didn't pull away. For the first time since the war, the touch of another being didn't trigger memories of blood and bandages. Instead, it felt like possibility. Hunters in the dark, 3 days passed in an unexpected domestic rhythm. Theo found himself smiling more, speaking more than he had in years. Kira's wound healed to a faint purple scar, and she delighted in exploring the cabin and surrounding woods, asking endless questions about Earth. Neva helped with chores, learning to cook human food, telling Theo about her world. At night, they sat on the porch, watching stars that had different names in her language. That one, she pointed, we call the Eye of Hope. Here it's Polaris, the North Star. I like both names, she said, leaning against his shoulder. The contact between them had grown more frequent, more natural. Each touch lingered longer than necessary. Theo found himself studying the graceful movements of her hands, the curve of her neck, the way her silver eyes caught moonlight. The sound of vehicles broke their peace, multiple engines approaching from the road. Inside, Theo whispered urgently, through the darkened windows. They watched headlights cut through trees. 4 black SUVs stopped at the edge of Theo's property. Men in tactical gear emerged, led by a tall figure giving silent hand signals. Captain Fletcher, Theo breathed, recognizing his former commanding officer. Damien Fletcher. You know him? Neva clutched Kira close. We served together. He heads a special operations unit now. Theo's mind raced. They must have tracked you somehow. My kind. Emits a unique radiation signature. Their technology has improved. Fletcher directed his men to form a perimeter. Soon, they would begin sweeping toward the cabin. We need to leave, Theo said, already grabbing his go bag, always packed, a habit from war days. There's an old mining tunnel behind the ridge. It leads to the next valley. Neva touched his arm. Why are you helping us? This is your home. Theo paused, the weight of the decision suddenly clear. This cabin had been his refuge, his isolation chamber. Now he was choosing to abandon it. Home is... He struggled to articulate the feeling. Home should be people, not walls. In the dim light, Neva's eyes glistened. She stepped closer, her hand rising to his cheek. The touch sent warmth cascading through him. Theo, she whispered. And then her lips were on his, different, softer than human lips. With a subtle taste like honey and starlight, the kiss deepened. Years of Theo's loneliness dissolving into unexpected connection. When they parted, Kira was watching with curious eyes. We go together? She asked simply to Theo, nodded, shouldering his pack and medical kit. Together, they slipped out the back door as flashlight beams swept toward the cabin. Using the cover of trees, Theo led them uphill toward the hidden tunnel entrance. Behind them, Fletcher's voice carried through a megaphone. Theo Mercer, we know you're harboring non-terrestrials. Surrender them immediately. Neva's hand found Theo's in the darkness, their fingers intertwining as they ran. For the first time since returning from war, Theo felt something worth fighting for. The sanctuary, the tunnel, opened into a valley bathed in dawn light. Theo guided Neva and Kira through dense forest until they reached a camouflaged hatch in a hillside, the entrance to an old military bunker he'd discovered months ago. Few people know this exists, he explained, entering a code on a keypad. It was abandoned after the Cold War. The heavy door swung open, revealing a surprising sight: a dozen humans busy at various tasks, and among them, several beings with the same blue-tinted skin as Neva and Kira. Theo, a woman with gray-streaked hair, approached. "Wasn't expecting you?" "Hello, Dr. Winters," Theo replied. "We need sanctuary," Neva gasped, clutching Kira closer. "More of my people, ... Dr. Winters' Eleanor smiled. "Welcome. You're safe here." She explained how the network had formed: scientists, former military, and civilians who believed in peaceful contact rather than government hostility. They'd been sheltering alien refugees for months, documenting their stories and needs. "We call it the bridge," Eleanor said, "because we're building one between our worlds." They were assigned quarters, a small room with 2 beds and basic amenities. For the first time in days, they could rest without fear of pursuit. That evening, Neve found Theo in the communal area, studying maps with other humans. She approached hesitantly, still adjusting to the presence of so many people after months of hiding. "Your friends are kind," she said. Theo smiled. "They believe what I've come to believe, that fear shouldn't dictate our response to the unknown." Later, alone in their room, with Kira asleep, tension crackled between them. The kiss from their escape hung in the air, unaddressed until now. "I've never ... Theo began awkwardly. "I mean with someone not human." Neva's laugh was melodic. "I've never kissed an Earthman before either." She moved closer, her skin glowing softly in the dim light. "But I would like to again." Their lips met, tentative at first, then with growing hunger. Theo's hands traced the luminescent patterns on her arms, marveling at their glow brightening under his touch. Neva sighed against his mouth, her fingers threading through his hair. They explored each other slowly, discovering differences and surprising similarities. When her clothes fell away, Theo gasped at the constellations of light that seemed to flow across her skin. "Beautiful," he whispered, their bodies entwined on the narrow bed. Movements careful at first, then urgent. The room filled with soft light emanating from Neva's skin as pleasure built between them. When they finally came together, the glow intensified briefly, casting shadows on the walls, afterward nestled against him. Neva traced the scars on Theo's chest, remnants of his war days. "Oh, my world," she murmured. "We believe scars hold wisdom." Theo kissed her forehead. "What wisdom do you think mine hold?" "That survival alone isn't enough." Our silver eyes met his. "That connection is worth the risk of pain." Outside their door, the sanctuary hummed with activity. Humans and aliens working together toward an uncertain future. But in this moment, holding Neva, Theo felt certain of one thing. He had found his true home. The bridge between worlds, 6 months, transformed the sanctuary. What began as a refugee hideout evolved into a diplomatic outpost, the first unofficial human-alien settlement on Earth. Word spread through underground networks, bringing more sympathizers and refugees. Theo coordinated medical services, training humans to understand alien physiology while learning from the visitors' advanced healing techniques. Neva became a cultural liaison, helping her people integrate while preserving their traditions. Their relationship deepened, becoming a living symbol of what was possible between species. Kira flourished, playing with both human and alien children, her laughter echoing through the growing community. The turning point came when Captain Fletcher located their sanctuary. Instead of an assault, he arrived alone, unarmed. "I want to talk," he told Theo at the perimeter fence. "Things have changed." Inside the command center, Fletcher explained. Leaked footage of government aggression against peaceful aliens had sparked public outrage. Political pressure mounted for a diplomatic approach. The president wants representatives, Fletcher said. People trust you, Theo. Both sides do. Theo looked to Neva, who nodded. We will speak for our people. 2 weeks later, they stood before government officials in a secure location. Theo had never imagined returning to Washington, certainly not with an alien partner at his side. Yet here they were, making history. Neva addressed the assembly with dignity. We come not as invaders, but as refugees, seeking sanctuary. Our world is dying. We bring knowledge, technology, and friendship in exchange for home. Negotiations lasted days. Theo watched Neva with pride as she articulated her people's needs while offering solutions to human concerns. When officials suggested segregated settlements, she countered with the sanctuary model, integrated communities where both species could learn from each other. Our strength is in our differences, she said, and in our choice to bridge them. The agreement was signed on a spring morning. The sanctuary would become the first official Earth galactic colony, with provisions for more settlements globally. Humans would gain access to sustainable technologies. The refugees would gain citizenship and protection. That night, Theo and Neva stood on a hilltop overlooking their community. Construction expanded in all directions: new homes, research facilities, cultural centers. Did you ever imagine this? Neva asked, her hand in his, their fingers intertwined despite their different shapes. Theo shook his head. 3 years ago, I was hiding from the world. Now we're building a new one. Kira ran toward them across the grass, her wound long healed, her silver eyes bright with excitement. They're starting the celebration. Come on. In the colony square, humans and aliens gathered around bonfires. Music from both worlds merged into something entirely new, alien instruments accompanying human voices. Under starlight, Theo knelt before Neva, offering a ring fashioned from earth gold and metal from her crashed ship. On my world, she said, tears glistening, we believe souls find each other across galaxies. Then we were inevitable, Theo replied, as she accepted the ring. They danced among their people, former enemies becoming family. Above them, ships descended peacefully, more refugees arriving to a welcome rather than fear. What began with an injured child at a cabin door had blossomed into humanity's greatest hope. Not just survival, but connection across the stars.